This is Jets FM on the OFN as we continue to preview the New York Jets 2021 season with episode 8, the linebacker crew. And Mike Rutenberg is the new linebacker coach for the New York Jets. He's a 12-year NFL assistant who spent his previous seasons in San Francisco as their passing game specialist. And of course, this unit that he'll be leading is led by the one and only four-time Pro Bowler, CJ Mosley. CJ Mosley, considered the alpha leader of the Jets defense, made 77 of a possible 80 starts in 5 years with Baltimore, including 3 playoff games before signing here in 2019. That dreaded groin injury in his first game against Buffalo, in which he was enjoying a monster game, is all the team has gotten out of the $85 million defender so far. For his career, Mosley has 10 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, 3 touchdowns, and 37 PDs. He is an excellent run, cover linebacker. And, oh boy, get him on the football field, and he makes a hell of a difference. The Jets made a shrewd signing when they tabbed Jarrad Davis for a measly 1-year, $7 million deal. Davis was taken in round 1 by Detroit just 5 years ago. He has been a tweener to this point in his career. Not the tweener type you hear about, often based on size. No, in my opinion, Davis has been a coach's contradiction of a tweener. Meaning, his coaches in Detroit could never figure out how best to utilize his multiple abilities or fit him into the right scheme. Just listen to how our lads describe Jarrad Davis in their draft profile of him. He played middle linebacker in the Gators 4-3 defense, but also has experience in 2015 as the will linebacker. Has a perfect mix of old school and new school linebacker play. Loves to knock the opponent out with violent blows between the tackles and has the speed to chase anyone down. Tough, hard-nosed leader who brings the attitude and physical prowess you want in the middle of your defense. So here we have a player who has shown he's got middle linebacker ability. He's got outside, speed and chase ability. And early in his career, the Lions decided, okay, we're going to keep him inside. Okay, we're going to try to make him into, a tough, hard-nosed middle linebacker. Matter of fact, I saw stuff online about the next Ray Lewis, the thumper middle linebacker with speed. That's what they were billing him, and it didn't work. For whatever reason, he just did not perform well against the run early in his career. Later in his career, they decided to play him outside. And all of a sudden, as an edge rusher and in coverage, Davis started to play like the player they envisioned when they took him in the first round. And that's the role we expect to see Davis in for the Jets. Take full advantage of his speed and chase abilities, while also using his toughness and overall physical style when he contacts his offender. Davis is without a doubt a player who needed a change and should fit in perfectly with Coach Saleh's scheme for linebackers that includes speed and athleticism. And the 1-year show-me deal is also a perfect one intended to get the best out of this player in a make-or-break career year. The next 3 are all rookies who are going to play the hybrid DB linebacker role. And recently, Jeff Ulbrich, defensive coordinator for the Jets, had some nice things to say about the 2 draft picks, Sherwood and Najaldine.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited about that group. You got 2 very established guys in CJ and Jarrad, like you said, but then beyond them, these young cats are they're exciting. They're long, they're fast, they're instinctual. Jamie and Sherwood, he has, I've been around a lot of rookies as a player and coach, and he's unique in the way that he has absolutely like picked up the finite details of this defense already. His ability to command the defense, run the huddle, make the adjustments, make the checks, the calls, the whole thing. Very exciting. And then Hamza has a different level of anticipation and instinct that rookies don't normally have to go along with both guys being long and athletic. It's an exciting group. It'll be fun to watch those young guys grow and try to find spaces for them to play the season and contribute.
Sherwood is an elite tackler who plays much better near the line of scrimmage and in run support, but didn't have gaudy stats because he was playing out of position too often in the slot and in deep cover. Nasruddin led FSU in tackles in 2018 with 91 and 2019 with 101, adding 2 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, and a pick six. His 101 tackles rank second among all Power 5 DBs. He was also the first Seminole defender to record 100-plus tackles since 2014, and the first since 1990 to record multiple 17-tackle games in a season. Nasruddin's love for the game was apparent when he returned to play in just 2 games in 2020, following a 2019 ACL tear in Game 12 against Florida. The last of the 3 rookies went undrafted in Brandon White. White is another DB who will convert to the hybrid role where he can be better utilized near the line and in run support. White was the defensive MVP of the Rose Bowl in 2019, and most importantly, has experience on special teams, which should be his early calling card. The forgotten linebacker is undoubtedly Blake Cashman, who played on 38% snaps, 7 games, and 5 starts as a rookie, then injured his shoulder and missed the rest of the season. Let's not forget that Cashman is a former walk-on who ended his career at Minnesota by leading the team in tackles with 104 and sacks with 7.5. He's a sideline-to-sideline type defender who is at his best chasing in pursuit. Unfortunately, Cashman's injuries continued in 2020, as through hamstring and groin injuries, he ended up missing 12 games, was relegated to just 3 snaps on defense and 45 on special teams. So that's it for the Jets linebacking crew for 2021. And I think they're going to keep 5 linebackers on the opening roster. We talked about recently the fact that normally 5 or 6 we would expect Saleh to keep on the roster, but with his defense. But this is a defense that is so loaded up front on the line of scrimmage that we talked about yesterday's show that I just can't imagine he's going to keep a 6th linebacker to take away from maybe having a 10th defensive lineman. I just can't see that. It's just not going to happen, especially when you can add a couple of these guys to the practice squad. Because the locks are pretty clear. Mosley, Davis, and the 2 rookie draft picks, Nasruddin and Sherwood. Locks. Okay, so those are 4 out of the 5. Cashman will lock himself in with a healthy, productive camp because he's more talented than the other couple of guys that he's competing with. But he's got to stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, look productive, there's your 5. It's as simple as that. It's probably the easiest breakdown of any of the positions outside of quarterback that we have on the team. The battles, if something happens, there's an injury, especially to Cashman, then you're looking at, okay, is it White or is it Noah Dawkins? Now, we didn't talk a lot about Noah Dawkins, and there's a couple other guys, and I've said this before, we don't talk about every single player on the roster. But as far as the last couple of the 2 players that will battle it out for that 5th spot, if there's an opening for that 5th spot, it'll be Dawkins and White. And I'll talk more about Dawkins when we talk special teams, because that's really what he is. He's a special teams guy. One of those players is and there's a few of those guys that we will be talking about in the secondary report as well as the special teams report. Some guys, that's what they are. You can say that, okay, this is like Hardy. You could say, oh, yeah, Hardy, he's going to want to play some defense. And, maybe they'll throw him out there for a couple of plays, but he's going to, like 98% of his action is going to be on special teams. Okay. So that's the same thing with Noah Dawkins. White, I don't think he's going to make the team. I think that's why I'm saying 5 linebackers. I don't think Dawkins and White make the team unless for some reason they keep 6 linebackers and either Dawkins or White make the team because they are one of the best performers on special teams. And we'll find out. Because that's going to be the when the coaches are all sitting on the table and they're discussing their players and Salah's got to make final roster decisions and who's going to be more passionate about which players that'll convince Salah that, Brent Boyer's making a pretty good case there for this Dawkins kid. I'm not going to be able to play him on defense, so it's all special teams. But wow, if he thinks he's going to be that much of a difference maker for our special teams unit, maybe I will keep him. So there you go. Now, as far as the linebacker crew in general, though, you got the 2 veterans and you got the 2 draft picks. That's what it's about. And I really believe Jarrad Davis has waited his whole pro career for this. I think he is going to have a monster season. I think people are going to go, what in the world were the Detroit Lions thinking with Jarrad Davis? Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Jarrad Davis is going to be superstar, but I'm telling you, compared to where he was to what I believe he's going to be able to become in this defense, even just for one season, I think the man's going to make some money. And I hope he does just enough that the Jets can afford him and bring him back, because I think he can be that type of player. But look, if he has a really good season and some team says, hey, we'll pay him so-and-so dollars, and the Jets are like, well, we're not go there. Well, they have these 2 kids, Nasruddin and Sherwood. So they'll be okay. They can let Davis go and move these 2 players in. But I hope Davis has a big season. He's got a world of talent that's just waiting to be unleashed into the NFL, to prove that I belong here and in a big way. And to have CJ Mosley aside of him, he's had some pretty good players, alongside of him in Detroit, but nobody likes CJ Mosley. So to have a CJ Mosley perform right next to him and take away some of the roles that Davis doesn't have to worry about. Because again, I think it's going to be Davis, go get him. That's what Robert Saleh wants in his linebackers. He wants fast, athletic linebackers that are just going to run and hit and create havoc. And I think Davis could fit that to a T. So I'm looking forward to it. And look, with Mosley, it's just like we said with the other positions with Quinn and Williams, maybe even Rankins, we talked about it. And then even on offense with a few players, but specifically with Williams. And Becton, talked about that too. You got to stay healthy. CJ Mosley must stay healthy. There's no reason to believe that he won't. He has been durable for all of his career until he came and played 1 game for the Jets. So if he stays healthy, I am telling you, it is going to be a world of difference, especially for Robert Saleh's defense. So it's going to be exciting. I try not to get too excited over it because of injuries. Because to me, that's all that's holding back this front 7 from being one of the top 10 in the NFL. There isn't a doubt in my mind that the Jets front 7, if healthy, will be top 10. Big question is going to come from the secondary, which is what we're going to talk about next on episode 9. And then after that, we'll wrap it up with special teams. And I think that's going to be interesting too, because we're just not going to go, okay, here's your kicker and here's your punter. We're going to talk about a lot of the players, just like I said, a Hardy. We're going to talk about a lot of players that not only are just core special teams guys who you may not have any idea who these guys are, but we're also going to talk about some of the other players that are going to fit on special teams, the And also, remember, we just mentioned in our last report about Fadokasi, who played what, 31% snaps on special teams. I mean, I don't think people realize that. I'm not going to zero totally in on that kind of stuff, but that's just my point, is that there's a lot going on in special teams from players that play snaps on offense and defense, and definitely in the return game. We're going to go over a lot of different possibilities in the kick return game. Maybe not so much in the punt return game, a little bit, but more in the kick return game. Whoever wins the kick return game, the kick return job for the New York Jets, I think is gonna be able to be a difference maker. Because I think Joe, I just look at this and I say, you know what? I think Joe Douglas has done a great job putting and providing Brant Boyer with more options than he's ever had before overall on special teams, but definitely in the return game. So I think it's going to be a fun battle to watch. So again, that's it for Jets FM on AOFN episode 8. As we have wrapped up the linebacker crew, we're coming back with episode 9 to wrap up the defense next time with the secondary. And that's when we'll see you again.